Hi everybody, this is Gabriel. Yeah, I'm very happy that most people here are advertising persons because we are in a good family. So it means we are exactly going to talk about marketing and lead generation. So first of all, if you are here and if you are listening and watching this webinar, it's probably because you want to generate more leads, and which is actually what marketers are struggling on today. According to surveys, almost the 60% of marketers say that generating high quality leads is their biggest challenge. And so what are the reasons? Well, actually, first of all, as you probably noticed in the last years, the ad spend is increased, and so does the cost per click. So, the estimated ad spend to 2020 is more than doubled than in comparison to the ad spend in 2015, which means actually that there is more competition. There are more marketers, more advertisers, more businesses that are competing for your leads, but at the same time the cost per click has increased. So actually it's getting more and more difficult to drive people from the advertising platforms to a landing page, a website landing page, to a registration form, and so on. And the second reason why today is more difficult to generate high quality leads at acceptable costs, okay, is also because the mobile accounts for approximately 50% of web traffic worldwide, okay? So there are more people who browse the internet through a mobile phone, and moreover, first of all, not all website, not all landing page software are absolutely 100% optimized for this kind of traffic, and the half of customers expect a web page to load in 2 seconds or less. And the problem is that actually, so the second challenge we need to face as marketers and as advertisers is that actually the landing page, the traditional landing pages are becoming obsolete, especially for advertisers. For what do I mean exactly? So the lead generation process, it always worked like this. So you put some effort in Facebook ads, Google ads, or you try to reach your audience through organic searches, organic traffic, and you send them to an old-fashioned website form. So this traditional form that requires people to fill in empty fields with their information, and then you need more effort to call them, to send SMS, or to nurture them in order to let them become leads in the future. And the key here, so what's the problem in all these processes? Okay, the problem is that the friction. Okay, so what is the friction? The friction is any variable, according to Neil Patel, website quality or user behavior trend that is slowing down or entirely halting the progression of your company's sales cycle. So for example, a website page that needs a lot of time to load is a friction, is an element of friction. The website page not optimized for that's not optimized for mobile traffic is an element of friction that reduces your results. So another example, the empty fields, so the time that people need to fill in their information in the empty fields is an element of friction. So at the moment, you can decide to reduce the friction or to add friction. And let's see, for example, Expedia. This is a famous case study. Expedia eliminated just one field, resulting in a 12 million profit. Okay, so they eliminated the company name from the registration page, and yeah, they had they gained a huge result by doing this. However, the friction is not only a bad thing, okay? Friction can be used at your advantage, because if you, let's see what marketing experiment says, think of the process of optimizing for lead generation as two interconnected deals. Each deal represents a step in your online process. One deal increases the volume of leads by reducing friction. So, for example, reducing the empty fields that your leads need to fill in. The second deal increases the quality of the lead by increasing friction. So, for example, if you have a website landing page and you ask for more information, then probably you will get more qualified leads. So today's goal, in today's presentation, I want to talk with you about a tool that will help you adjust the quality, I mean, to reach both. So to avoid, let's say, unuseless frictions like the website too slow or the empty fields, okay? And you can adjust the quality of your leads and the volume of your leads using a tool that's called the Facebook Lead Ads. Okay, so a Facebook Lead Ads is a Facebook Lead Ad is a native lead generation ad. So actually, it allows you to generate more leads at lower cost because of these pre-populated forms, a two-click subscription process, and a seamless experience. So it works exactly like this animation show. Someone is browsing through Facebook, they click on your ad, and they only need to submit their information because their data are already pre-filled. Okay, so they don't need to fill in the information because they are taken directly from their Facebook profile. And yeah, this is absolutely a seamless experience. It's perfectly optimized for mobile phone, for mobile devices and tablets. And the reason why it works so good, it's because in comparison to a website lead generation system that requires you to send the people to a website page, then they need to fill in their information, and then you collect a new lead. With lead generation ads, you only need 2 steps, okay? They click on your ad and they submit a form, which results in 5 more leads generated, okay? These are data that we took from the results of our customers, and I will show you some successful cases later on, and you can lower the cost per lead by up to 85%. An example, Kia Western is one of our customers, and they needed to, so they started to use Facebook Lead Ads and LeadBridge, and then I will tell you how LeadBridge works and how LeadBridge comes into this process. So they use the Facebook Lead Ads and LeadBridge to generate sales leads for a new vehicle in Western trading area, and the results was amazing. So they decreased the cost per lead up to 52%, and this is their ads. Okay, they sent us this ad, which is exactly the one that generated this success. Another case study is Jeep Motors. It's a premier luxury car dealer with an inventory of pre-owned luxury vehicles, for example, Audi, BMW, Porsche. And yeah, I mean, these are the results. They collected more than 41 leads in 16 days. And we are talking about leads, very good leads for luxury, the luxury industry. And they reduced up to 400% the cost per acquisition, and the cost per lead one only less than $10. However, you may ask yourself, okay, but I already tried, I mean, this is what most advertisers think at first. So I tried the lead ads. Okay, I tried Facebook lead ads, but it's so frictionless that actually some people don't even realize that they are subscribing or asking for a demonstration or whatever, okay? So this is a little trick that we or used in LeadBridge to improve the quality of your leads. If you already tried Facebook lead ads, just try to consider that this is a frictionless tool, but you actually can decide you can decide if you want to add friction or reduce friction. In this test, for example, we decided to provide a couple of custom questions to the leads, okay, which actually generated huge results in terms of new leads. And let's see another use case. For example, this is Spin Effect Sheds, so it's a local rain-bill dealer. Okay, so they actually sell sheds, and using Facebook lead ads and LeadBridge, they quadrupled the ROI and they decreased the cost per lead up to 88%. So actually, Facebook lead ads is definitely a game-changing tool, and of course it needs some time to understand how you can switch, okay, between the quality and the quantity of your leads. However, another very important thing, we can say that this is a downside of Facebook lead ads, is that when a lead subscribes or when a lead fill in the information, then Facebook only allows you to download a CSV file that you can upload then into your CRM or a file that you need to manually import in your management system. So, for example, into Active Demand. However, LeadBridge LeadBridge does exactly these things. So, since the importance of reaching out your leads immediately, it's really huge. Then, sorry, I jumped to this presentation because I want to go straight to the point. Okay, you all know the pain points of let your leads wait too much. With LeadBridge, you can basically integrate, for example, Active Demand, which is one of our partners, and send immediate welcome emails, SMS campaigns, or send an instant notification to the sales team when your leads come in. Or you can start an automation, okay, with active demand, so immediately. So this LeadBridge is actually one automation tool, so that automates the leads acquisition with Facebook lead ads to active demand. Yeah, so now it's time to exactly understand what do you do when you collected these leads, and yeah, Adriel, is your turn now.
Yeah, thanks, Gabriel. So I've had like 3 cups of coffee, so if I start talking too quickly, just again, there's the questions area in the on the side there. And really, I know that a lot of marketers out there, they're going to Facebook because Google Ads works, but it's just getting too expensive in some industries. You know, you're competing with a lot of other people who know that it works as well, and because you're all bidding on the same inventory, you're all bidding on the same keywords, the costs keep going up year over year. You know, I've done marketing for like personal injury lawyers. Those guys are paying like $50 a click in some markets, or even something like Ford dealership. You know, you're spending like $15 just for someone who might be interested or might be in that early part of the funnel. So definitely a lot of people are starting to look at Facebook as a way of generating more leads at a lower cost. Now, one of the other interesting things about Facebook is that it offers really good demographic targeting that, in my opinion, is better than Google's. So if you've done persona work on your ideal customer, you probably already have a lot of the targeting variables that you can kind of plug right into a Facebook campaign. Now, one of the downsides of this is that you're not catching your customers right in their moment of need like you are in Google if you're just doing like a demo campaign. And I mean, you could just use Facebook for remarketing and retargeting your lists, but it's got so much power to use to target your ideal demographic, and again, find those new prospects, not just remarket to them. So I'm really excited about Facebook. You know, when Facebook ads first came out, I kept trying it, and I kept failing, and it took a while before I started to find some winning combinations that really made it sing. So I'm excited to talk about that with you today. Now, just for 1 minute, I just want to jump back from Facebook ads by themselves and talk a little bit about sales, because I think we all hear complaints from sales that leads aren't good enough quality, or you know, they might use words that I can't use on a PG rated webinar. But one of the things that we have to kind of address, that's the elephant in the room, is whether sales uses the leads and how they're using the leads. I think I've talked to a couple of customers that you talk to marketing and they're like, yeah, we're generating all these leads. We're doing like this many per week or this many per month. And you talk to sales and they're like, yeah, we haven't closed any of those. And like, that is so disheartening to hear as a marketer, as someone in the company whose job it is to generate leads. To hear that sales isn't using them, or they're even not that good. So again, this depends on companies. Some companies out there are doing great, and they treat these web leads with the respect that they deserve. But primarily, the things that we'd be looking to do is to earn trust with sales. If we're sending leads that aren't ready, that's the number one thing that I see. Sales getting leads, and they're like, wait a minute, this isn't served up on a silver platter. I don't even want to call this person. They're no good. And the ones that they do claim or they do take, you typically see like you know, these poor close rates, and that doesn't bode well for marketing. And the last thing that I see is reports that don't show clearly how marketing helps, and that clearly bit is important, because a lot of companies that do reporting internally, or agencies that do reporting to their customers, or auto groups that do reporting out to their customers. They need to make it clear. They need to make it clear on how they're pulling their weight and how they're helping. And I think that sometimes it's a little bit too numbers and science driven, and it needs just a little bit of context or quality, I guess, to the reporting. And I mean, I talked a little bit about how sales expects their leads on a silver platter, and that's kind of right. I mean, they are looking for the best quality leads, but that's because salesperson time is expensive. They're typically some of the highest paid employees in a company. They're typically the ones that bring home the bacon. So we do need to actually give them really good quality leads. We can't afford to pay the highest, the most expensive people in the company to talk to tire kickers. They have to talk to good quality leads. So what we need to do is make sure that we're sending sales-ready leads out to them, and we're letting them not have to deal with a lot of the cruft out there. And I think Gabriel earlier was talking about that quality versus quantity dial that you can turn, right, depending on how much sales time you have and who you have available. Now, one of the things that I want to make sure is that marketing isn't the scapegoat on why sales isn't performing up to snuff. They need to know the quality of the leads, and we need to know that they're using those leads as well. Now, really, how do we get more leads out of nothing, right? Well, we have to do something. So this is a typical sales funnel, sales marketing funnel, and in a lot of companies out there, this would be kind of like a barrier. Either they're a lead or they're not a lead. And you know, I think that this is how a lot of companies operate right now. They have a clear boundary between the two. But really, we need a way of working that middle area where that blue line is. How do we move more of those people who aren't a lead to high quality leads? Because we don't want to send people who aren't qualified yet to sales. And I think that one of the ways I want to talk about today is using automation to help move some of those high volume, low quality leads and nurture them into becoming high quality leads that sales can then engage with. And I mean, the reason why I'm choosing automation here is if we have marketing do the work, let's say we take all those low quality customers and we have marketing call them instead, we're just changing who's doing the grunt work, right? We're just moving the person. So it's not actually solving the problem, and it's not actually letting us get more of those volume leads out there. So the first thing we'd want to do is introduce some better lead filters, better filter the stuff that's coming in. And this is one of the things that, this workflow is actually an example one from our platform, Active Demand. And this is one of the things I'd recommend people do when they're getting these leads in, not just email absolutely everything over to sales, but instead put some filters in place to make sure that we take a lot of the spam, a lot of the test stuff out. Because what I don't want to have happen is for me to be emailing sales and sales to say, ah, man, 50% of the stuff you're sending me is spam or it's garbage. I need filters that stop that from happening. And a great way of getting those filters or figuring out what kind of filters to put in place is to talk to sales first. Hey, go through some leads with them. Is this a good quality lead? And they might say, ah, no, these guys aren't even in whatever the country is, Canada, the US. And I don't talk to people unless they're from this area. Okay, good. That's a really interesting piece of information. Let me put a filter in there, because even though I'm advertising and I'm targeting a specific location, you know, the ad platform, sometimes they're a little bit generous in those targeting areas. So I do want to actually filter out some of those people. And if you're marketing for a B2B, you might even want to be even more strict than this. You might want to, for example, limit the email addresses that people use to only business addresses. Again, that's something that you would use for B2B. If you're doing B2C, you can't really do that. You still have to take in those Gmail and Hotmail email addresses. And the other thing that we can start doing is automating the nurture and put some decisions in here to make the system a little bit smarter. So for this example here, I've got a Facebook campaign, maybe a lead campaign, that's one of these what's my ride worth campaigns. And the idea with these is to get trade-ins and just try to get a new car off of it, right? Some of the things we could do in a workflow would be adding them to a particular campaign for retargeting. We could email our trade-in guy, wait a day, and then here's the magic part, put some decisions in place to decide what to do with that lead next. So if we see that sales engaged with it, let's say if this campaign might be generating so many leads that sales can't get to all of them, and they're just being real picky choosy, they're just grabbing the best ones out of the list, then the system can handle the rest, right? Why bother having sales just sit on a lead and do nothing when we can have the system do some nurturing in here? And the other cool thing that we can do is that we can, instead of having the goal being determined by someone filling out a form or something like that, we can add in additional goals or additional clarity inside the workflow. So we could arbitrarily choose to do a Google Analytics event in the middle of a workflow, and it's qualified because sales engaged with the lead. That's a really interesting thing, right? Instead of reporting to whether it be management or our client that we got this many conversions, we got 20 conversions for this week, you could say we've got 20 sales qualified leads. Oh, that's much better, right? That's actually talking about what they want. They want stuff that's good enough for sales, and that's a good way of measuring it. Now this nurture, this is a very simplified example. Most companies, what they would do is start with this and then expand from it. And what this allows us to do is have our cake and eat it too. So yes, we've got that volume and quality knobs that Gabriel talked about a little bit earlier, but we're actually able to address more than just the high quality leads. We can address the lower quality leads and the medium quality leads and hit them up with automation. So like I mentioned at the start there, most companies will start with a simple nurture campaign, but as you start to add more intelligence to it, you can actually build these really crazy workflows that almost act like a human being. They almost do the things that a good salesperson would do if they had the time to talk to all these other, millions of low quality prospects. And now we can actually build these up and start to address the low quality, high volume leads and start doing something with them to try to push them down to the point where they become a high quality lead. Now, we don't have to just use email. We could use text, we could use social, we could add or remove them from prospect lists for Facebook or Google targeting. And some of them even use like an automated phone call where it's appropriate. And that's the real key there, is where it's appropriate. And really, this is how marketing can exert pressure on people who aren't quite ready to become a lead, but marketing knows about. And that's really interesting. This is one of the things that marketing can do to really help drive more leads beyond just paying for more advertising, but actually getting more out of the advertising dollars that they're already spending today. So one of the really cool things that I see is that Active Demand kind of becomes like a home for your marketing prospects that aren't quite ready for it to be a lead yet. This puts them in a place where we can track all of the different ways that they talk to your company. And it also gives us, because we integrate with LeadBridge, we're able to connect with a lot of really cool platforms out there, both on the advertising side and on the CRM side. You know, we offer a lot of native connections to a lot of standard stuff out there, but LeadBridge has all these really cool platforms that they connect with that we can now connect with because we've got that LeadBridge connection there. And that really enables us, Active Demand, the marketing automation platform, to be the marketing system of record, the place where we gather information about prospects and consolidate all that information and understand the user journey as they're going through. And I mean, some of you might already have a CRM, and you say, well, why not just have marketing share the CRM with sales and just use the CRM as the system of record? And I mean, there's a couple of good reasons why I wouldn't want to do it. Once upon a time at a company many years ago, I was working at about 15 years ago, I had to talk to IT to make changes to my website title tags, if you can believe it. Marketing didn't own the website, IT owned the website. And from my experience, when my department doesn't own the thing that I need to be successful, it sucks. I have to compete with other departments' priorities to get things done. And I'm a guy that likes to get things done, and it annoys me to no end when I don't own the thing that makes me successful. Another one is seat costs. CRM seats can sometimes be pricey, and a lot of companies just don't want to budget for having the entire marketing department to have a CRM user. Because CRMs are focused on sales and the sales experience, they're not really as feature rich as marketing automation platforms. A lot of them are a little bit behind the times when to adopting new features. Again, because their development focus is on the sales user and not on the marketing user. And finally, you can't really standardize on a CRM if you market for multiple clients. So if you're in an agency or if you're in an auto group where your clients have multiple different CRMs, you're kind of stuck, right? You can't really standardize on CRM. So you're stuck having to learn all of these CRMs or learn a marketing automation platform and use that with your customers so that you can at least standardize on that. Because again, if you're going to be doing a lot of work in it in terms of sending emails, performing automation, and nurturing your leads, standardizing on the marketing automation platform would be, well, at the very least, a big time saver for a lot of companies out there. One of the things I just want to talk about real quick here is adding narrative around leads. I think that marketing and sales are actually both really bad at putting too many numbers in reports and not giving enough context, not giving enough narrative around it. And it makes it so that management can't figure out whether things are going well or not. And it makes it so that you're actually not giving insights and information. So I want to just share something that happened on Saturday here. So I was just digging around in some leads to find an example, and it didn't take me too long. I found a lead that we got. It was actually a management consultant that we got. Initially, they came in off of Capterra, which is a website where you go to compare software and that kind of thing. And we retargeted them because we saw, oh, yeah, this prospect, we don't know their name yet, but they're interesting. Let's remarket to them. So we remarketed a Facebook video ad to them. and then that person came back to our website, checked pricing, features, and booked a demo. And I wouldn't be able to, like, this is a really interesting story, right? I could take this story and I can describe it to VPs of sale, and they get it. And I can describe it to CEOs, I can describe it to sales. Everyone understands this because it's in, it's an easy narrative to understand, and it speaks to the value of Facebook and, in this case, Capterra. So that part's really interesting. You know, especially in a lot of B2B companies out there, you might be fighting an uphill battle with bosses or hippos who don't think that Facebook is a good place to advertise for business. They're like, no, you got to be on LinkedIn or one of those business platforms. Facebook is where people share pictures of their cats and that kind of thing. But a story like this is irrefutable. It's, even though it's just one story, it's irrefutable. It got this lead. Now that's really interesting, because that tells that helps to back me up as a marketer when I want to say, hey, I need more budget for marketing. Oh yeah, you know, we got George came in off that Facebook video remarketing campaign, right? Yes, he did. Let's get some more like that. The other thing this does is give you, the marketer, a little bit more context as to whether your marketing's working or not. Again, are we generating high quality leads or not? You can't tell the story if prospects are anonymous. You do need a system that strips away the anonymity, and something that can see multiple visits and see multiple touch points, like a marketing automation platform. I would really, if you perform monthly or periodic reports for your customers, I would really strongly recommend doing this kind of narrative, even 1 or 2 a month. It really helps add to the clarity and add a little bit of flavor to your reports, which are normally pretty, at least mine are pretty boring and pretty numbers focused, right? This adds a little bit of context, and it's a little bit interesting for everyone to see the results of marketing. Finally, you know, Active Demand is a tool set. We've got quite a few features in it. More than I can even talk about in one presentation. One of the interesting things that we're doing with Facebook ads these days is when you click through that Facebook ad, sending people to a landing page that dynamically changes. So Gabriel was talking a little bit about Facebook lead ads, and those are fantastic because, again, it's very low friction. For some different ads, like the video ads and that kind of thing, we're still going to be sending them to a website or to a landing page, and that's where Active Demand can really help to dynamically change the content on that page based on the ad, based on what else we know about that customer, really using that full user journey of chat, incoming phone calls, email, landing pages, website usage, and more. So we've got free trials available at activedemand.com. And with that, I will pass things back over to Gabriel.
Okay, thank you, Adriel. Yeah, thank you for the presentation. It's very, very interesting. So there's something else I would like to share with the participants of this webinar. Since the most of you are marketers and advertisers, yeah, we have seen, for example, how you can collect more leads using Facebook lead ads, okay? And then Adriel showed you how to manage these leads actually. But the question is how you can really understand if the leads you collected or if generated some results, especially if you are, for example, if you are running campaigns for an automotive business or a physical store. So what happens if the conversions you generate happen offline? Okay, let me go a little bit straight on to the second part. Okay, and the fact is that actually this is one of the most used tools by marketing agencies today. Okay, is the tool I'm going to present you today. And yeah, so the question is how. The fact is that 60, for example, imagine a physical shop. Okay, today's data show that 60% of shoppers discover products online, and 40% of them use Facebook for shopping activities. Okay, and Some others use Messenger, okay, to for shipping activities. So the problem is, what happens? How can you actually track all these conversions that happen offline? So a lead that you generated and you manage through, for example, active demand, that follow the automation perfectly and then come to the store and purchases there. Okay, how can you understand if the ads that you used to generate these leads were actually successful? Because, you know, if you generate online sales, it's quite easy because you only need to add a pixel on your website, and you know, it's easier. But the problem is that most businesses don't know how to measure the impact of their online campaigns on their online sales. Okay, and actually there is a tool that is called offline conversion tracking. And this is a tool that actually allows you to exactly track how many offline purchases and conversions you generate from a single ad. Okay, so I mean, probably most of you already know this tool, but it just takes the data that you have on your CRM. For example, for sure you will have a list of customers into your CRM, and just by pushing these data back to Facebook, you will be able to recognize which person was exposed to your ads. Okay, but the problem is always the same, that if you don't have an automation that allows you to connect your first party data to Facebook, you always need to upload these data. So you can, and you know, in marketing and advertising is very, very important to immediately understand what campaigns are successful and what are not successful. So for example, if you use an active demand to manage your customers, what LeadBridge does is that you will be able to connect active demand to Facebook in order to automatically track the transactions that occur as a consequence of your Facebook lead ads or your Facebook ads, actually. By doing so, you will be able to gain a real-time reporting of who has seen your Facebook ads and interacted with your business offline, okay? And as I said, it does not only affect, for example, physical stores, but also it's a tool very much used in the real estate business or in the car dealership, and by professionals, for example. Then you can deliver ads to people who are more likely to take action. And of course, by bridging this gap, you will be able to drive incremental visits to store, because if you understand which ads are successful, then you can just put some more budget there. You can, of course, reach shopper who will convert in your stores by using, of course, all the tools that Facebook allows you to use, the lookalike audiences and much more. As said, the most important thing here is to understand which ads are successful and which not. And of course, you can increase the effectiveness of your total ad spend. Which is actually the only way to scale a Facebook ads campaign. Just understand how successful it is. And okay, this is a case study. Easttour, for example, needed to thanks to the offline conversion tracking, was able to increase an incremental purchases from Facebook, okay, compared to the previous attribution model, and an incremental return on ad spend up to 59 times, and an increase in revenue compared to a control group up to 30%. And that's, of course, that's what LeadBridge makes exactly. LeadBridge is actually a connector between advertising platforms and CRMs. As you can see, it's a quite useful automation platform, because it allows you to take the most out of your Facebook campaigns, and at the same time, it allows you to take the most out of your CRM activity. For those who are interested, of course, there are lots of features that comes with a LeadBridge account. So the Facebook Lead Ad Sync, which is the tool that we presented today, but you also can connect, of course, the landing page softwares, and you can receive and send email notifications. Yeah, you can start with a free trial by visiting leadbridge.com/pricing, or just simply visit leadbridge.com, and you will be able to understand and to test all the features included in our plans. Okay, Adriel.
Oh, I just wanted to thank so many people for making time today to hear us talk about connecting systems and getting better leads out of Facebook.
Yeah, for me the same, and I want to say thank you to Adriel, because I I liked very much his presentation, and I hope that in general that this presentation can be useful for advertisers and marketers who decided to join us today.